Here we go. Here we go. So we're going to get right into it because I tried to start right in our time zone of 9:30, 9:35, 9:25. I start ushering us into class. So a lot of times when we start warming up, which I will do right now, I need to direct my my camera a little bit here. I think you're going to be able to see my head. Yeah, I think you can see my head here. Anyway, not that that's that important. It's just a little disconcerting when you can't see somebody's head a lot. So as I was talking to the group who was on first, because you know when you come on first, you get a little bonus tirade from me. So I was giving, do you see what I'm doing? I'm just taking 2 or 3 steps, and then I'm doing a little dip. See the dip? See the dip? And I bring my hands up here. I don't bring them back here on the get-go. I'm going to. And I'm only taking 2 or 3 steps. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, dip. And see, whenever I dip, I drop down. I don't lean in. You know why? Because if I had you leaning in, 1, 2, 3, and it's not that big of a dip. So pretend I'm in front of you and I'm just doing a little tap to stay back. Because the minute you start to lean in, many of you are going to do what's called flexion of your back, which is what I don't want to do on cold muscles, cold ligaments, cold tendons. Now I'm going to put the other leg in front. So to keep me from leaning in as I dip, pretend I'm in front of you, banging on your chest. That's one way. The other way is to just simply say rib cage up. Do a little dip. See this? When I go down, right there, I have my hands back here, just to here, okay? And I go down. I don't lean forward and then come up. So this is a variation of leg bending. I walk, walk, walk. I step on the other leg. I dip down. Don't lean in. Then I walk back. Okay? Then I'm going to come forward, bring the other foot forward, drop my shoulders, breath in through the nose. Pretend I'm banging right here on your chest as you drop. This is such an important concept in moving correctly. See how I'm dropping, but I'm not leaning in? That puts the focus on my big muscles, which warms me up without flexing my back and getting into all kinds of catches. You'll hear people say, oh, my back caught this morning. Well, what made it caught? Well, a lot of times, now I'm going to go frontal. So I've been doing sagittal plane motion, and now I'm going to do frontal plane motion and a warm up. I'm going to step and come back. Do you see what I'm doing with my hands? I'm not going up over my head. I'm stepping in and then stepping back. I'm stepping in and I'm stepping back. And I'm breathing through my nose. I'm tightening in my tummy. My knees are soft when I step. So what I'm doing is a modified jumping jack. Yes, I am. Some of you have nightmares of jumping jacks in PE when you were kids. Possibly. Well, we should have done a modified version for you. And let me tell you something. If you did this right here, what I'm doing, I'm stepping out and in, stepping out and in. Pay attention to your cadence. Take big breaths right now in through the nose. Tight tummy, shoulders down. I'm bringing my thumb to my deltoid. That's all I'm doing. I don't want you to go up higher than that. I do want you to soften your knee as you step. I do want you to take breaths through your nose. I do want you to keep your toes forward as you're stepping. In other words, don't turn your toe out in order to step in the frontal plane, okay? So we're just sashaying through the frontal plane in a modified jumping jack. And I'm being very careful and very specific about saying thumbs to the deltoid, because I'm going to go up here in just a minute. But if I did just this move and I varied how deep I step and then bring it in a little narrower and then go wide and then go a little narrower and then go wide. See what I'm saying? So if you just vary that and then vary the height of where your thumb goes to in this little modified jumping jack. Take big breaths through your nose. My hands are open. I can close them. My thumb still goes to my deltoid, my shoulder muscle right here. Okay, now I'm going to go up. I'm going to take my thumb to just my ears and down. So see, I have to raise now my elbow. I'm not going all the way up. I'm going to my ear. Soften up your leg. By that I mean you hip hinge a tiny bit and you soften your knee in order to take a step in the frontal plane in an adduction, abduction type of a motion. And then I bring my hands up. I bring my thumbs to my ears. Take a big breath. If you've been doing every one of these with me and you haven't slugged out on me thinking this is a nothing exercise, you should have noticed by now that you are breathing deeper, okay? You're needing to have a little more air. This is a modified version of what we used to do called jumping jacks, okay? Now, bring your arms down and the thumb goes to the deltoid again. So if you start really breathing, instead of stopping, take a smaller step side to side and just go with your thumb to your deltoid. Now stay with me. Take big breaths, get that air back in there. Okay, ready? Bring them up. Go to the ears now with your thumb. Soften up the knee. Hip hinge a tiny bit because I want you to keep your rib cage up. You are not flexing your back, even though you're working side to side. Okay? Now stay with me. Breathing in through the nose. Are you noticing? You're probably noticing that you're needing to breathe deeper. Who knew that this little stepping could increase our heart rate, our breathing, everything else, because it looks like, oh, that's too easy. Okay, shake your hands out. If you've kept your arms up, even though they were bent, and even though they were just coming to my deltoids, you should start feeling those muscles working. Okay, now I'm going to keep my hands open, and I'm going to step forward and back. I'm going to step forward and back, and I'm going to do the exact move that I did when we started this, the whole warm-up, okay? Remember, I took 2 or 3 steps, and I stepped, and I just dipped down. So that's what we're going to do right now without the steps. So step and lower, and then come up. Now, bring your hands back up. So you're going to step, say rib cage up. Do not flex that back, okay? Breathe in through the nose. Hands are here. You lower, and you're going to come up. And then you're going to come back down and step back. Then you're going to step out, okay? I'm breaking this down for a reason. Everybody tends to get into this kind of emotion and they're like, oh yeah, I know that. And then they get sloppy. Okay, you see how I'm dropping down and I'm bringing my hands up? Okay, whenever that you do that, some of you with issues with rounded shoulders, forward head problems, will reach up. I'm going to turn to the side and you'll reach like this. Okay, that's not what I'm doing. And that's not what I want you to do. So you say rib cage up, you've stepped back with your toe forward, correct? And whenever I go down, I'm reaching up, but when I come down with my hands, see my thumbs are right here at my ear again. See this? And then I can do a repeat. Take a big breath through your nose. Here we go. And then come back down. So it's a very gentle use up over the head with shoulders. And why am I being so careful with this? Because this particular move, switch your legs. See, switch your legs. Now my other leg is back. The toe is forward in the back. That's the first thing to check. Then pull yourself back. Because some of you have shifted forward because you started rounding your back and you don't realize it. So I'm here to just rag on you, you see, and make your life a little miserable right now by insisting that you move correctly. So when I go up, as I drop down and I reach those shoulders up, I want it to be right at my ears with my bicep. And then as I come down, my thumbs are at my ears and I'm down. See that? Okay, this is quite problematic for a lot of people. A, poor posture. B, injuries. C, you just don't realize that the move and the push that's required as you're going up over your head, as you're dropping down, and I'm doing little repeats. See, I'm doing little repeats, and then I'm going to come down. So when I do repeats on a strength work day, I'm trying to get into that little bit of overload. I don't want a huge overload because I want you to be able to walk around tomorrow and the next day. So now that I have warmed myself up, warmed you up, I think you're seeing this. You see I have a lower step and then I have my chair, right? And we're going to be doing weights today. So I'm going to go over here and grab my little gloves. So here's my gloves that's going to support and keep my hands nice and warm. Okay. So I've taken the hands up in a standing position, right? Now I'm going to take my hands out and get those joints involved in that movement, this movement right here. So as I approach the chair, I'm going to go wide. I'm going to hip hinge, push the butt back. I'm going to come down as far as I can with my back very extended now. And I'm going to reach out just like I reached out up over my head a minute ago. And I'm just pushing my butt back as I'm pulling forward. As I'm pushing forward, I'm pushing backward, pushing, and I'm reaching really hard. Take a big deep breath. Take a big deep breath into the heels, into the heels, into the heels, into the heels. Then I'm going to come here on a hands and knees situation. I'm going to go behind, but not straight behind. I'm going to cross over. So my shoulders are down. I'm going to cross over as I try to put my heel down. And I lower myself down. This is just a motion movement No weights. Getting into the calf, the Achilles, the foot, the ankle. So here I am. I'm going to do this, the push back again. I'm going to call it a push back. Okay, push back with the hips. Keep your chin tucked. Take a big deep breath through your nose. Push and pull. See, push and pull. You're reaching your arms like you're trying to reach up over your head, and you're pushing your butt back. Then I come back, and I cross over as far as I can. I keep this leg straight, the leg that's closest to the chair, and then I carefully try to put that heel down. Okay, drop your shoulders. Some of you have brought your shoulders up around your ears. We'll do that, but not right now. Take a big deep breath, and now you're just going to go down as far as you feel you can, and keep your heel down. Take a big deep breath, and go all the way down, and just to the side of your chair. And then you come back up, and you come back up. Take a big deep breath. Yes. All right. Now I'm going to pick up some weights. So we haven't picked up some weights since we've been back in session too much. So what am I going to pick up? Okay. I want you to purposely pick up very light. So for me, no disc. And why am I insisting on this? Because I'm going to do moves all around the shoulder girdle. I don't want heavy weight. Okay, so I'm going to step wide because I'm going to do some squatting. I'm going to do some stance related loading. What does that mean? That means I'm standing here, I'm shifting, and I go to my toe, and I'm pressing into my quad, into my gluteal. My back is activating. Keep your shoulders down. See, as I do a stance related loading, you shift. Generally, that's going to be involving one leg standing. So I shift. These are very lightweight, and I go to the toe. Okay. If you struggle with balance, don't frustrate yourself by thinking you have to do this all on one leg or it's no good. That is wrong thinking, okay? You hip hinge, you soften your knee, and you just give yourself a kick stand. See that? So I can just bring my toe up and bring it down. I don't have to move this leg at all. This side of me is getting all the load. So open your toes. Some of you are gripping with your toes. Drop your shoulders. Just go into a kickstand position where you can just lift your toe, and then if you need the balance, you put it down. See this? See this? Just like that. This knee is very soft, bent a little, because I'm trying to lower your center of gravity. So I'm doing a stance involved loading. That's what I'm doing right now. See how I bring my toe up and I try to hang on to my balance, and then if I'm starting to really lose it, I put the toe down. That's what I mean by using it as a kickstand. Now come back up. Let's practice on both sides. Again, I have light weights here. Normally, this is very light. Light for me would be generally 6 pounds and 6 pounds. I have 3 and 3. So I would encourage you to do that. And or if you have a 1 pounder, that's fine too. I want it to be light. Okay, shift. So I'm shifting. Here's my hip replaced. Here's my knee replaced. I know I tend to be more out of balance on my hip replaced side. So I'm going to tighten in my tummy. Breathe through my nose. Soften at the hip so that I get a little hip hinge, meaning pushing the butt back a little. Then I bend my knee or soften my knee, okay? And then I act like I'm going to pick my leg up to do a single leg stance, but all I have to do is do a little ankle move and it gets my toe back down. Do you see how I'm not lifting my knee? You see that? Okay, drop your shoulders, take a big breath. Yeah, I was given a talk last night. Well, I wasn't given a talk. They had me do a 10-minute exercise thing. Some of you have been over there. They're doing these once a month. It was great. He did the chef is a French chef, but he's all vegan. See what I'm doing? See what I'm doing? I'm loading right here. Then if I feel I'm getting too far out of balance, I just put my toe down. Okay, so stay with me and do this while I'm giving my little story. Okay, take breath. Light weights. Hold it right here. Shoulders are down. Knee is soft. Bring that toe up. Just try to hang out here for a bit. See that? Just hang out. So yeah, so I gave a talk and I had them do certain moves. I'll show it to you in a little bit. But I wanted them to keep their legs straight and lift at the hip. Well, these are people that had many of them have not been in my class. And I said, oh, you're bending your knee. I did not say bend your knee. And I'm thinking, I was scaring them. Oh, well. Okay, I hope I'm not scaring you. So here we go. We're going to do a little interset now. So we've shifted. We've learned how to use a kickstand, correct? This is going to be extremely important in just a minute. So as you're shifting, all systems are go, correct? No joints are locked out. My chin is tucked, okay? I'm doing that pull back of the head, all right? And I know how to just lift my toe, both sides. I'm just going over it. Say, shift, don't lean in, don't hunker forward, okay? And lift that toe up. Yeah, just like that. If you get out of balance, just down with the kickstand. See that? But it makes you maintain load on this side. It makes you work your back like you can't believe, because it's having to be one-sided than the other side. There's great benefit in that. Okay, so go wide now. We're going to do a little interset. Here's the interset. We're going to turn. We have this light weight, and we're going to go this way and that way. See that? So now I've gone into a little transverse action, okay? And I'm going to turn, and before I start to reach, I'm going to make sure I'm lined up. My ear is over my shoulder is over my hip. My hip, you can go right down to the knee. See that? Okay, so I'm turning. Take a big deep breath. Do not be leaning in. Drop your chin. Okay, tight tummy. Big breath. You reach out, but you don't lean out, and you reach back. These are light weights. Okay? But you know what? If I didn't painstakingly go over that move, and I'll do it here. So I'm going to turn. My toes are set in the floor. They're not turning. My knee turns. See how I'm turning? If I didn't break this down, you know what many of you would do? You would turn like this and you would be leaning. And that's not what I want you to do. Got it? Breathing big in through the nose. Here we go. Turn. Get yourself set. And then reach out. Then reach back. Take a big deep breath through the nose. So anytime I say take a big deep breath, you know that I'm saying shut your mouth. If you shut your mouth, you will breathe through your nose, period. Okay, so now I'm going to turn this last one. So the minute I turn, if you were jumping the gun on me, many of you turn and you're like, oh, I know she's going to put her hand out. And you went like this. I know it because I've seen it 100 times or more. So turn, say rib cage up, then push that arm out, then push that arm back. You got it? Bring it in. Take a big deep breath. Now stay right here. One more. Turn, line up, push and push. So it's the double push. Here we go, right here. Take a big deep breath. Rib cage up. Just by turning back, some of you went into this, okay? Say rib cage up. Turn, and you're gonna go push and push, okay? If you will persist with me in doing that kind of a motion correctly, you will be feeling things in your trunk, your back, the side of you, everything that you are like, oh man, I did not realize. I know it. Okay, lightweight, a wide stance, and you're gonna go into a high squat. So pretend you're sitting your butt on a stool, okay? See that? So sit down into the stool, and when you come up, I want you to really contract your butt muscles. Yeah, pull them in tight. Okie dokie. Toes are forward. Push your butt back. Right here. Keep my chin tucked. Okay? And then come back up and squeeze that butt. Now we're ready. Push back. Bring that light weight to the front of your shoulder, and you're just going to keep going in perpetual motion. See this? So you're going to go back into that high hip hinge. You're going to keep your chin tucked, and you're going to go. Don't make the mistake of gripping tightly the barrel of your weights. You want to hang on to it. So bring that thumb in there, but don't squeeze tightly, okay? Take a big deep breath, and see how I'm just doing repeated sit backs? I'm doing high sit backs, just like that. And you'll get off of balance some. That's okay, just step it back in. Keep your chin tucked. Keep your chin tucked. Big breath. Big breath. Through the nose, yes. Big breath. Do a little sit back. Okay, stay with me. We're going to change our arms. Are you ready? Now I'm going to take my light weight, and I'm going to go across and back. We already practiced this kind of. See that? See, I went down here, and I went back. Now, if I walked into the room where you were right this minute, and I had you do this move, so we're here, we turn, we do that little sit back, but many of you did this with your shoulder. So drop your shoulder, and you're coming here to touch, and you're pushing back. See that? Then you come in and you come up. You got it? Okay, drop your chin. Okay. Regress, regress. Yeah. Pro, re. You got it? Here we go. Sit on that high stool. So you sit on that high stool, so my rib cage is up. Big breath through the nose. I'm going to go across and tap right there on the top of the knee. And I'm going to go right there. And then come back. And do it again. And come back. And do it again. And come back. So it's it's very important that you establish the range of your hip hinging right now. Okay? So if you have to, do it where there's a stool. There's an actual stool that you act like you're going to sit down on, but then you don't. Okay? Now we're going to go alternates. So we did a little bit of repeats, still very light weights. Yeah, move your fingers. Okay, do that high hip hinge. Keep your chin tucked. Okay? You're going to go tap, press. Then you're going to go tap, press. Come up, tap, press, come up. Squeeze your butt right there. Turn, tap, press. Squeeze right there. Tap, press. Go into the heels. Keep your chin tucked. Turn, come down, tap and press. So it's a drop my shoulders. Yes. So as I'm turning, I'm going one and then the other. I have one side of the brain that has to work and the other side has to take over. Sometimes that could be problematic for us. Keep your chin tucked. Don't bring that head up. Keep your chin tucked, because if you'll keep in proper neutral posture, which means chin tucked, ears over shoulders, if I'm doing this, my ear is not over my shoulder, okay? When you stay in that nice neutral spine, you are training your neck muscles to be stronger. And you lose it if you keep doing this, okay? Drop that chin, get the ear over the shoulder, boom, boom. Come all the way up. Now shift into the heels. Tap and press. Keep my chin tucked, big breath. Right there. Keep my chin tucked, big breath. Keep my chin tucked, big breath. Keep my shoulders down. Yes. Take a big breath, just two more. Here we go. Okay. So we've gone across. We've gone across, right? Take a big deep breath. We've come up, open. Right, now we're moving on. So now I'm going to do that all important Y position. Now I'm going very carefully. You know why? Because the up overhead position for people that have delicate shoulders can be a problem. So our goal is to have joint integrity, number one, and number two, to be able to move through a range of motion with a minimal to medium kind of a weight. Okay, and you might say, oh, well, why is that important? Well, how many times have you gotten up on a chair or whatever and tried to put something up in a closet or up in the barn or up in you tried to do some tree type work? You get my drift? These are very functional moves. And if it's very difficult because you have used the wrong posture in achieving an up over the head position, then it's a very important thing to step back like we're doing today and reviewing what is our movement patterning. See this? So if I'm out here like this, I'm paying attention to my shoulders and what they're saying to me, because I have a 3-pound weight and a 3-pound weight coming down on this shoulder and on this one. Collectively, then I have 6 pounds in addition to my upper body coming down my spine. So a lot of people who have shoulder dysfunction should be doing this type of a lifting type class. It's a little tutorial on shoulder function. Okay, do you see how I come back in? Do you see how I come back out? Okay, that's a hinge movement. We should be able to do a hinge movement with no pain. Now, bring it down, just like you were pouring out a can, or just like you were going to hammer something to the side. See that? So as I'm in this stance, my knees are soft. My hip is hinged a tiny bit, okay? I keep my rib cage up. And when I come down like this, I keep my shoulders not hard, not in a hard tuck, just comfortably down. Then I can come from a hammer or a paintbrush or whatever movement of sport you can think that creates this kind of motion. I can do that. I can bring them up, hinge them in. I'm not doing it fast. I'm going through all the ranges of motion. I'm going to go up and I'm going to notice where is my biceps in relationship to my ears. They should be right there where I can touch them with my ear. If I can't do that, if I'm out here and I can't touch my ear to my bicep, then we got to step way back and we got to do some more physical type therapy in order to get a joint range in my shoulder. See what I'm saying? So if your shoulder has been giving you problems, and I can tell you your sleeping positions as we have our birthdays and we have things just start like, oh man, I'm falling apart type. You know, now this is happening, now that is happening. I'm right there with everybody else. It's a management issue, y'all. So we're learning in this class, hopefully, to move correctly and then to move with a gentle load and then to move maybe with a heavier load if it contributes to our functional motion. Then I'm going to go across. I'm going to go across, which is what we did in that one move that I already introduced. Okay, do you see what I'm doing? So now you see how I'm going back into the thing that I just went over, which is standing loads. See this? See how I'm starting to shift? See, we already did this. So now all I have left to do now is if I'm lined up correctly, and the reason I want you to line up correctly is because I want you to have the right gravitational pull on any said joint. Okay, any of the joints I've talked about. Now right here, as I'm shifting, you got to bend that knee a little bit, because what are we going to do? We already did it. I'm going to lift that toe up. If even for 2 seconds, if even for 1 second. But now I have a load. Now it's not just my hands, right? So here I am, and I'm just going across now, and I've shifted. Now I have to bend my knee, drop my shoulders, say rib cage up, before I lift my toe off the ground. See how I'm lifting my toe off the ground, and here I am trying to maintain that load, trying to maintain the balance. This is specifically loading in balance training, okay? It's just, people think they have to get so heavy with their stuff before it does any good. Well, that's just wrong thinking. One speaker called it stinking thinking. You better be good at these loads, at these motions. Bring your toe up, keep your knee soft, say rib cage up, take a big deep breath, then come back, then shift, then get ready. Here we go. Bring that toe up. Make sure your knee is soft. Rib cage up. Drop your shoulders. Big breath. And bring it back. And bring it back. So we're working these arms in all these locations in all these ways. Now I'm going to go into a move. I'm going to turn kind of to the side that I worked with a lady one time for almost, I want to say it was about 3 to 6 months. She had what's called a frozen shoulder. And she had the same mentality. Well, if a little weight is good, a lot of weight will be better. Wrong thinking again. So, do you see how I'm sitting back Do you see how I'm doing that high hip hinge? When you go into a proper high hip hinge and you're lined up, wow, are you working your back? Are you working your quads? Yes, and you're doing it in a steady state. See how I'm, now this is standing, tight tummy, drop shoulders, breath through the nose. Now I'm gonna go into a hip hinge and a high squat. So my knees are soft, almost bent, and my hip hinge is working. The minute you do that with rib cage up, you should be feeling it powerfully in your back extensors, okay? Now when you go and add a light weight to a front arm extension, which is what I'm doing right here, this is the move that got her in trouble. She had learned this, you know, at the facility, and then she thought she'd go on her own, which that's great. However, she wasn't pulling this weight properly. She way overdid it with the weight, number one, and she created a frozen shoulder, okay? Should you be able to bring your hand up with a 1 to 3 pound weight? Yeah, but if you've locked your arm and if you're just throwing it with your body, you're going to create problems, okay? So sit down into that little bit of a hip hinge move, which is basically a high squat. That's what we're doing. Now, the shoulder is down, not hard, because it's gonna, the shoulder blade's gonna move some. I just don't want you to go like this. See? And I see this happening all the time. So I'm taking the time today to really hammer on our movement through our shoulders with body weight loading, okay? As I come up, here's number one. I don't go in this move past my shoulder, okay? So sit back, drop your shoulders, take a breath through your nose. As you're coming up right here, you should be pushing pretty much in your heels. Come back down and you're breathing. You're gonna breathe in right now. And then as you come up, you exhale through your nose, if possible. Now, this is my trick shoulder. This is my challenge shoulder, okay? Everybody has a little trick shoulder, a trick this, a trick that. You know, learn which ways that you need to move so that you can do a functional forward arm extension. And part of that is keeping your shoulder down. Don't overload, because we're trying to get functional movement through the shoulder. And I can tell you this shoulder is much weaker on me than the other one. This is the shoulder I landed in the road after being hit as a pedestrian. And I landed on this shoulder and I had a great big knot on my shoulder, which was called a hematoma. And I thought, oh, everything's good. I didn't break anything. Well, that did a lot of damage. And so it creates weaknesses, imbalances. So I'm trying to do everything I can to bring back that balance. And I hope you're doing every one of these with me and thinking about, okay, this is using a lot of shoulder girdle moves or structures, shoulder girdle structures, just to do this move. And especially if you have a little weight here. So mine is a 3 pounder, which many of you have this in a 3 pound. But my elbows have to be, I'm not gonna say bent, but they are bent a little, because that's one of the biggest mistakes she made. She locked her arms and she was throwing this. Well, it really damaged her shoulder girdle and she created what's called frozen shoulder. Okay? So as I do this, I'm telling you, I could not do this with a higher weight with this shoulder. I could not, which that would be dumb to do. But this motion, done repeatedly, done with a little higher repetition, and Kathy knows every one of them. She's counting them. I know it. I've done a lot. I'm trying to get the 30. I don't know. I'm thinking maybe we're there. I don't know. But do you see how this move is going? You see this move? This is not this. Okay, this move is not that move. I'm sitting back, I'm doing a specific move with my whole shoulder girdle. When I do this move, that's not the move. Okay, you're not even using your shoulder girdle when you do that. Now I'm going to take this and come back and around. And I'm pretending that I'm doing some archery. Okay? So, still wide stance. And I'm going to be shifting a little. Because I'm doing primarily today a lot in shoulder function, but with a lighter weight and body weight challenged loading. And when you stand on one leg while you're moving your upper body, that is a double challenge, okay? So I'm shifting, that's why I went over this move. So now I'm right here. Now I'm going to bring my toe off the ground and I'm going to move that arm back, all the way back. And I want you to notice something. When I go into this move and I bring it back, I am not doing this. Pull it back just like you were doing archery. Then bring it down. Okie dokie. And you're shifting. So you're thinking of a lot of things right now. So now you say rib cage up. You're getting ready to pull it back. Okay, release your toe. Make sure this knee is soft. Release your toe. Bring it way back. See that? And then come down. Shift. Okay, knee is soft. Bring it up here. Get ready to lift the toe. Pull, 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 pull. So I'm not nearly as stable when I ask this leg with my hip replaced to hold my balance when I'm doing a compound move with my upper body. So keel it back. Do not think that you have to do all this stuff with heavy weights. You must not do it with heavy weights. In fact, some of you need to be doing these moves with no weights in your hands because of your issue with shoulders. Drop your shoulder. Here we go. Lift the toe. Try to maintain as you're pulling this bow and arrow back. Shift. I'm getting ready to bring my bow and pull my arrow back, back, back. Get the elbow back and come back down. So you're doing that whole pull. Now just do it right here in front of you, just as a recovery. See, you're just coming right down here and right down here. You're going to go up, lift the toe up, lift the toe up. Say rib cage up. Say rib cage up. I'm bringing my toe up. Bringing my toe up. Breath. Keep your elbow down. Don't throw your elbow too high. Okay? Take a big deep breath. Big deep breath. Big deep breath. Yeah. Now I'm going to come down. I'm going to stay right here in front of my chair. I'm going to sit all the way down on the pad on the chair. And some of you are going to use your pad in just a minute to step onto. I'm going to use some of the higher stepping on this little stool just because I have it and I can use it. So what I want you to do here is go straight from this, your wide legs, drop your shoulders, yes and yes. Lightweight, lightweight, minus 3 pounds, 3 pounds. Lean in. And you remember at the very beginning of class, when you lean in, You do not want to do what? Correct. You do not want to round your back. In fact, let's go down as far as we feel we can, which this is groin, which if you're going to go on a ski trip, Alisa, you better be able to move into this deep of a stretch until you feel those groin muscles really stretching. And the only way that you will feel that is if when you lean forward, you hip hinge, you are shining your tail lights, okay? So I'm wide as my chair now. I'm gonna come into a, it's still a modified squat because I've got 2 inches lifted because I'm sitting on a pad. So I'm gonna release my butt right there. And in order to do that, you gotta push on your heels, okay? Big breath into the nose, lean in. Okay, get ready. You're gonna exhale as you lift your butt up, right there. Try to go through your nose if possible. If you have to open the mouth, that's fine. At least breathe in through the nose. Let's do that again. This one move, again, it's the tying your shoe or putting your shoe on, your sock on. It's the problematic move of that is what we're doing right now, okay? Because it's in this move that so many people round their back. And I know you've heard that before, but I'm going to keep hammering it, okay? So my shoulders are down. I'm going to go forward, but I'm going to press into my heels. I'm going to take a breath, exhale, release, and I'm right up here. And I'm going to go push back and then bring the whole arms forward. Push back, and all you need to do is when you're in this position, you're pushing on your heels, keep your chin tucked, and push those arms back. Now squeeze the backs of your arms. Stay in this down position. Bring the hands forward, back, push. Here we go. Forward, back, push. Heels, breath. Forward, back, push. Heels. Big breath. Push. 3 more. Here we go. Push into the heels. Push. Here we go. Bring them forward. Back. Push. One more. Push, push. And come up. I know you thought I was going to sit back down. I did not sit back down. I know. Time flies when you're having such fun. Okay. I'm going to put my weights right there in my chair. I'm going to put this here because some of you need to simply step on the pad. Now, the one advantage that I have, even though I'm going to step higher, is that stool is not spongy. So I'm going to step and I'm going to step down. So I'm doing it with you because I know most of you have balance pads, okay? I'm going to step up with the other leg and step down. Now switch. Lead leg up and back down and switch. Lead leg is opposite now and down. You get the gist of this, correct? So I'm going to step up on the stool. You're going to step up on that. So I got to make sure I'm not going to hit my fan. So I think you can see this, right? So I put my weights in my hands, which is what I want you to do. If you can, if you don't feel comfortable, then don't. You may need to do this with no weight and touching the wall or using a pole or touching your chair, which is fine. But we're going to be doing some work with the hands. You can or you don't have to. The important thing here, y'all, seriously, stepping on this little balance pad, your brain, your proprioceptive systems, the readout that your brain gives to your body when you step on a spongy surface, unreal training. okay? So just stepping on here and back is enough. So if you don't want to put your weights in your hands, you don't have to. I'm going to keep them here. I'm going to step and come up, okay? I'm going to step down. So you're stepping on your pad. Don't get too automatic. You know what happens when you get too automatic? You just are stepping and you're not ready for a little, you pushed a little on your toe or a little this, and it throws you. So be ready for that. So here I come. I'm going to bring my weights up. I'm going to come down. I'm going to step up and press my hands up. And I'm going to notice where are my biceps in relationship to my ears. So I'm going to come here. I'm going to come up and go out into a Y and bring it down. I'm doing this all with a very light weight. Up, open into a Y, bring her down, bring her down. Take a big breath, drop your shoulders. Breath, exhale. Breathe in, down. Just a couple of steps. All the way up and down. Switch, lead legs. Bring the arms up. Bring them down and down. Okay? Big deep breath. Now I'm going to take these and I'm going to hold them right here. Okay? I'm on the floor now. I'm going to step forward. So this is how we started this class. We started with a warm-up of a dip. Now I've put 3 pounds and 3 pounds, which translates into 6 extra pounds for my spine and for my hips and my knees. Okay? On my arms, yeah, it's a 3 and a 3. But then it goes into the center. Take a big deep breath. And I'm going to dip and then come back. And then I'm going to step. And I'm going to say rib cage up. Pretend I'm pounding on your chest. Drop the knee. Just go to the ears. That's all I want you to do. I don't want you to go up over your head. Just to the ears. And keep your shoulders really working in good form. How do you know that? Number one, you can almost see your elbows out of the corners of your eyes. I don't want your elbows to be way back here. It's too much. It creates tension in your mid-back. Okay, step out, drop, say rib cage up, and you just come to the top, and then you come back down, and you press. Take a big deep breath. They say, make sure you keep saying rib cage up. Drop, 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 and then come back, and then come back, and then come down, and then come down. Put your weights in the holster. And when you do that, if you have people coming in and out of your house, the first thing that little boys want to do is go pick up the weights. Sometimes little girls. Make sure they can't at 18, okay? Maybe it's your husband that you don't want to pick up the weight. Sorry, guys. Tim and Frank knows my sense of humor by now. Okay, here we go. Here we go. The point is, calibrate your weights so they're not easy to pick up for anybody, okay? So take them down to 18. That's a safety feature. Take a big deep breath. See how I'm shifting? I'm shifting in the frontal plane. And I'm going to get ready to just bring that toe up again. Take a big deep breath and say rib cage up. Then go to the other side. Set, and then bring that toe up. Take a big deep breath. Set yourself down. When I say set, I mean put all those good postural cues in order before you bring that little toe up. So right here, tight, shoulders down, rib cage up, boom. And then see how long you can hold it in a one-legged stance, okay? You can get great benefit from doing these types of little changes and keep your joints more safe and still get the benefit of good balance moves. And I hope your shoulders feel really good today. I know time flies when we're having fun, doesn't it? Okay, let me take it off. Okay, stop.